Okay, today we are going to be having a look at Chapter 8b, which is talking about loan repayment schedules. Why would we need a loan repayment schedule? Well, essentially, you might want one done up so you can have a step-by-step outline of how your loan will be repaid. You can use it for a variety of things, whether or not it's to budget, forward budgeting so that you know you can afford the repayments you have coming up, but also to identify how your interest is changing throughout the loan, ways in which you might be able to potentially shorten the loan or lengthen the loan if necessary as well. With any loan schedule, we generally have a scaffold that is used in each question, and it involves a similar table. So I've got the columns for this table written up already. My suggestion would be is to write this into your books now. So pause the video and set your table up. Now the columns that we have, our first one is our number, which is the number payment it is. So if I was to start our table up, I'd start with 0. The only reason I want to start with 0 is that so I can actually see my starting point. Then 1, 2, 3, all the way through. I think this table goes all the way to 6. So why don't I do the same too? Oopsies, that did not work. Anyway, there we go. So 4, I'll go to 5 because I know that they've got one question in here associated with 5. Our next column is the amount we repay. Now this column is a super simple one because it never changes. Unless the question said he made $600 repayments for the first 6 periods and then $700 repayments. But this one will always stay the same. So when you actually read the question, it tells us that there's monthly repayments of $600. I've actually got this written up here too. So straight away, I'm going to fill in here $600. And I'm just going to arrow down because that's not going to change. If you like, you can write in $600 for each. Our next column is the interest we pay. So we know that we pay the interest off the previous balance. So we'll focus on calculating that momentarily, but to work in with our 0 row, it's going to be 0 to start with because I haven't paid anything off it. Next is our reduction in the principal. So this is where we combine the interest that we paid and taking it away from the amount we repay each month or each period. But for the first initial one, we're at 0. And our last column is the balance, so how much we have remaining on the loan. With our loan to start with though, I know we're starting with $8,500, so I'm going to fill that in. Now in addition to the information I've just filled in on this table, I have included what rate our interest is being charged at. So in the question it says we're getting charged 7.68%, so I put that as a decimal, and it's compounded monthly, so I've divided it by 12. Now in your textbook it's getting us to work out different amounts. What I think I might do is talk through the first 2 rows and then you can work out those missing values on your own. Alright, so filling out each of the rows, $600 is already done. That will not change. When we get to this next column here and we're calculating the interest paid, what we're going to do is calculate the interest amount off our previous balance because that's how a reducing balance loan works. So to calculate that, I'm going to go the rate multiplied by our balance. If I put that into my calculator, so 0.0064 times 8,500, I get $54.50. So that column there, I might write a little note for us up here. It's R times balance. That can be a little note for us. Now when we get to the principal, we want to know how much our principal is reducing. 8,500 is our principal. So to work out this column, I'm going to go 8,500 minus the amount of interest. But in addition to that, I'm also going to be reducing the amount we repay too. Think about this for a moment, and in the previous video, when I discussed that a reducing balance loan is like taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Take 2 steps forward, but then I get charged interest. I make a repayment, but then I get charged interest. This is how we see what's happening right here. So I'm just going to get rid of that little graph down the bottom there. So in order for me to work out how much I've actually paid, I'm going to minus the difference between these two values. I'm making a repayment of $600, but I'm also paying $54.50 in interest. So again, this is my $600, but this little up part is my $54.50. I'm then going to pay another $600, but then I'm also going to be charged a little bit of interest. So that's where this visual can really come into play. Okay, so 8,500 minus 600, take 54.50. So I've just popped that in brackets, so we're aware as to how I get that amount. So if I pop that into my calculator, 8,500 minus, in brackets, 600, take 54.50, $7,954.50. So our balance is $954.50. Now as we go through and fill out the remainder of this table, we're going to be using the same processes. So I'm going to go for the next payment for number 2, and then what I'd like you to do is stop the video and have an attempt at solving the unknowns in row 3 and the unknowns in row 5. So let's go over. We're at our second repayment. Our amount to be repaid will remain the same. Now let's look at the amount of interest we pay. We know that the interest is the rate multiplied by the balance. Our balance now is $7,954.50. So I'm going to have here 0.0064 times 7954.5. I'm going to put that into my calculator. And I get $50 for 50.9088. Because it's money, I'm going to round to 2 decimal places. So $50.91. I now move on to my next one. Now remember, this is our 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. My remaining balance is 7954.5 minus 600 minus the interest I paid. So what I just calculated. So if I go to put that into my calculator, I've got, better move my little graph again. My balance I get is $7,405.41. Now because I've got the room, I might just do one more. That way I can feel fairly confident that we'll be able to move on to the remainder. So I'm just going to move this 4 and 5. And I'll move the 3 so it's more in line with what we're doing. So last, we'll go through that same process. My repayment stays the same. I need to calculate my interest. Now I'm recalculating my interest on the previous balance. So this time 0.0064 multiplied by 7405.41. Do you see how my interest rate does not change? It stays the same for the whole of the loan. So $47.39. Now I'm working in my reduction of the principal. Again, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I'm going to use my previous balance, 7405.41, minus the difference between my repayment and my principal. So when I go to put that into my calculator, 7405.41 minus, I get $6,852.80. So what I'd like you guys to do now is go through and finish that example before moving on to the remaining questions in this chapter. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.